Aye. Mr. Lunder.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Correspondence, clerk, is there any correspondence this evening?
No.
Does any member of council have correspondence this evening? All right, we will move on to administration and department head reports. Mayor and Safety Director, Mr. Eva, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Johnson, members of council, and public here this evening. Just one note tonight, the AMVETS Post 109 Memorial Weekend Parade is Sunday, May 26th. The parade will start here at City Hall at 1 p.m. and end at the AMVETS Post on Lakeshore Boulevard. That concludes my report.
Administrative Director, Ms. Martin, good evening.
I submitted the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds expenditure report that was due this month. Lake County Auditor is requesting data to prepare for the budget sufficient local government fund by May 3rd. They're crafting the formula for distributing funds to the city. And the service department would like me to inform everyone the water service on Fern from Andrews to Beach Drive will be temporarily interrupted on Monday, April 29th from 9 to 4. And the Dominion Gas Company also called to notify the city their inspectors will be checking everyone's outdoor meters the next several weeks.
Law Director, Mr. Lyons, good evening.
Good evening. I am on.
Okay. Fire Chief, Chief Pachasko, good evening.
Good evening. The fire department is going to be transitioning to a new department patch through the collaboration of several department members. A new patch was designed incorporating the city logo, which better ties the department to the city. We've already started using it on our letterhead. During the April 8th eclipse, the fire department added some additional personnel for that day to prepare for any unusual events that we might have foreseen. Currently, we are in the process of applying for reimbursement for that additional manpower through the Ohio Emergency Management Agency. The applications are due by Friday, May 10th. Our applications will be submitted no later than Friday of this week. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions for the administration? I have a request, the COVID funds report. Can you send a copy of that to all of council?
Electronic submission.
Is there not a hard copy that we kept?
I can go online and see what's on there.
That would be appreciated. Thank you. All right, board committee commission reports. Community Development Committee.
Good evening, council, administration, and the residents, public. April 15th, Community Development Committee met. 6:30 was the meeting began in presence with myself, Jeannie Wong, Kevin Bittner, and Desiree Thompson, and also Andrew from Newbury Technologies. He introduced himself. I'll do a summary. He introduced himself in the background, the history of the Southport IT department, and the feasibility of his recommendation to potentially switch software systems, which he can handle if he get permission from council, if that's the route we want to go. And then he gave us some recommendations for companies to look at, because even though we would potentially switch the brand, the connectivity integration will need a web-based design to facilitate what the committee is looking to do with web design. And he gave us 3 companies to pursue besides one other that he recommends highly. We also discussed picking out other cities to look at their different web pages. Each council member and vice president are going to take upon 3 to 5 different cities, look at their web pages, and that concluded our meeting. And we left at 7:37.
Okay, thank you. Zoning Committee.
Zoning committee met, 4/16. Meeting started at 6 p.m. That was to go over the final draft of the 1242-05. President was myself, Michelle Moore, Jeannie Wong, Desiree Thompson, Skip Gray, and Chuck Snyder. We went over 1242.05. That was proposed by Mr. Lyons, and it was passed. It was sent to Mr. Lyons, we put on the agenda. The meeting ended at 6:35.
Okay, thank you. Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec Board met on Sunday, April 14th at 10 a.m. This meeting was agreed upon in advance as a substitute for the April 25 meeting for which there was major conflict. All board members were present except for one citizen member due to illness. In addition, Mayor Eva and Councilman Moore were present. Initial research for an outdoor movie night planned this year revealed the cost is quite variable and will depend on how many attendees are expected. More information from local companies is being gathered with possible target date of Saturday, August 31 being considered. The Centennial T-shirt project, the group voted to approve using Custom Ink as the vendor via an advanced order sales model at a price of $10 each, aiming to cover costs and not truly as a fundraiser. Other details such as shirt and print colors, delivery options, and communication to advertise the project were discussed. A pilot order, it was decided, should take place over the next 2 weeks, targeting a May delivery that could be used to test run the order distribution process and provide advertising for a wider campaign available to all city residents later in the summer, maybe June or July. The chair distributed an example of a year-long calendar of events that naturally will require regular updating. The Community Development Committee was asked to discover how such a tool could be incorporated for real-time updates on our city website. The board will meet next month as scheduled on Thursday, May 30th at 6:30 p.m. And this meeting was adjourned at 11:25 a.m. However, an update from just today is that the shirt vendor identified a potential problem with our order parameters and may need to suggest alternatives. Therefore, the board may require an additional meeting earlier than scheduled in order to review and vote on these changes. If so, we will have to publicly announce by an appropriate means before that meeting takes place. That concludes my report.
Okay, any other boards, committees, or commissions? Yes.
The Service Committee.
Service Committee, yes.
Service Committee met on April 16th. The meeting was called to order at 7 p.m. Present with committee members, myself, Jim Lunder, and Virginia Wong. Also present was Councilmember Thompson, Councilmember Gray, and our zoning housing representative Chuck Snyder. The committee discussed Chapter 236, Department of Service. The discussion included, should the positions of Service Director and Service Supervisor be kept, updated, or removed? The current ordinance and table of organization do not align, so the committee is reaching out to the administration to gather more information for further discussion, including job descriptions, title verbiage, and the city's needs. We discussed removing 236.03, division of billing for residential rubbish and garbage collection services, because the trash billing is no longer handled in-house. We discussed other ordinances that would need updated when this process is complete to align proper titles with responsibilities and various other ordinances. And we adjourned at 7:27.
Okay, thank you. Were there any other board committees or commissions? Reports. Hearing none, we'll move on to open to the public to speak. If you'd like to speak, please come to the lectern and state your name and address for the record. Again, this is an opportunity to speak to council, not a back and forth with council. Hearing none, we'll move on to legislation before council. Resolution number 2024-R-16, if you please read it by its title.
Resolution number 2024-R-16, a resolution authorizing the administrative director to participate in an agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the purchase of sodium chloride or rock salt for the 2024-2025 winter season and declaring an emergency.
Questions or discussion on this? Yes, Mr. Bittner.
So last year we allocated for how many tons?
He said he lowered it tonight to 250.
250? We used,
And we have not used a lot of it at all, so we're gonna cut it in half again.
because the previous year, I think we cut it before also because we had a carryover to go out.
Correct, we still have a carryover. So we discussed cutting it down again.
Any other questions or? Yes, Mrs. Tom.
Does this have to be into them by a certain date?
Yes, I have to go online and enter it in the computer.
When is that date that it's due? May 3rd?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mrs. Moore.
If we agree to 125 and we have a bad winter and we need more,
Yeah, that's the reason why we didn't wanna cut it back, like, I was like, why do we need to buy it at all at first? And that's why they said that we need to at least have something on contract, because if we don't, and it's a bad winter, all of a sudden, that there would be nowhere in for us to get salt as a current emergency.
okay.
One more question. What's the current fee for housing the excess salt? And compounding year by year?
Extra wet,
The salt, is ODOT holding the salt for us? And what's the fee associated with that?
The excess storage.
oh, the excess storage, I was told we have an excess storage unit, but I don't think. It's not like that. I can look into it, I can ask Jim exactly what that. I mean,
And are they charging us? It's, I think he's trying to get it. When,
I know, but I was under the impression that we were getting it.
I don't think we're getting a bill, but we'll check.
yeah, because I mean, if we're gonna get it at today's price, whatever, we can order as much as we want to have them hold it, well, wouldn't we? It's gotta be.
Yeah, I'm sure we
I
pay
think there was,
for it.
I think there was
Yeah.
a storage fee at one point.
Any other questions or discussion on this? Is there any motions on this?
Move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Wong, second by Mr. Bittner to suspend the rules. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Thompson.
Aye.
Mrs. Moore.
Aye.
Mr. Gray.
Aye.
Mr. Bittner.
Aye.
Ms. Wong.
Aye.
Mr. Lunder.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Motion for passage.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Lunder, seconded by Ms. Moore. For passage, roll call, please.
Mrs. Thompson.
Aye.
Mrs. Moore.
Aye.
Mr. Gray.
Aye.
Mr. Bittner.
Aye.
Ms. Wong.
Aye.
Mr. Lunder.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Resolution number 2024-R-17, if you please read it by its title.
Resolution number 2024-R-17, a resolution confirming the appointment of Tess Turi to the Parks and Recreation Board.
Is there any motions on this?
Motion to suspend.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Moore, second by Mr. Bittner to suspend the rules. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Thompson.
Aye.
Mrs. Moore.
Aye.
Mr. Gray.
Aye.
Mr. Bittner.
Aye.
Ms. Wong.
Aye.
Mr. Lunder. Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Motion for passage.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Lunder, seconded by Ms. Wong for passage. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Thompson.
Aye.
Mrs. Moore.
Aye.
Mr. Gray.
Aye.
Mr. Bittner.
Aye.
Ms. Wong.
Aye.
Mr. Lunder.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Ordinance number 2024-0-04, if you please read it by its title.
Ordinance number 2024-0-04, an ordinance amending ordinance 1242, certificates of occupancy and declaring an emergency.
Any discussion on this tonight? Mr. Bittner?
So kind of just, and maybe Mr. Lyons can clarify this. So pretty much we added number 3.
Yes.
So in reading 2 and 3, to me, it almost seems they contraindicate each other. Maybe I'm reading it wrong.
Well, 3 applies to multifamily condominium business and industrial. And it deals with the final development plan. In terms of why you can issue a temporary or final certificate to so that there were some other changes that the committee put in to try to strengthen it, I thought. Yeah, and so I didn't bring my changes. I thought it needed to be, have more words in it in order to try to convey what the council was trying to achieve, which was to make sure that a business does not open unless the final development plan satisfied. I thought the language was pretty good. I don't know if there's any hurry to pass this on first go around. I can certainly send, the red line changes from existing, to everybody so they can see them.
I think it was principally separating, as Mr. Ryan said, that, so residences. Temporary occupancy permits for residences as opposed to those for businesses, specifically so that businesses could not open for business. Unless they have met all conditions set forth in their final development plan and agreement. And if they have exceptions where they cannot meet them right away, in order to open for business, they would need to go through a process to get waivers for those exceptions. Was specifically a business issue.
This comes down to Dollar General's situation, and I take it.
Right.
I don't understand that. They had the building, they had parking, they had everything in there. And according to this then, they would have to go through planning and zoning in order to open first.
I think I can answer that. The answer is no. But they would have to go through planning and zoning if they had not met all of the terms of development. So for example, maybe everybody's aware the sign has been issued. They would have had the proper sign up there before they could open. But we didn't have anything directly in the code that prevented it. This situation as would prevent that, and if the business claimed a hardship, they made a mistake. What they're claiming in this situation, then they would still have an option of going to the planning commission and looking for a waiver, but it would have another set of eyes on it, other than just the zoning.
Okay, it's nothing to do with landscaping then, at all?
No.
Well, that would be under the final plan though.
Well, we
Right.
understand, yeah, but
So they would still have.
we understand though, you can't put landscaping in the middle of winter or use
But
asphalt.
this is not written that way.
This would still mean they would have to go to the.
It means they would go to planning and zoning and request we cannot complete the landscaping until the weather turns. We could not get the asphalt or until the asphalt factors are open. And we request a waiver or exemption of that part of the final development agreement in order to open business.
Or that could be put in the development, and then they wouldn't need a waiver. They would just be able to open, and put the landscaping in.
Anything else? This will go on to second reading. Old business, is there any old business tonight? New business? Mr. Lunder,
Yeah, everybody should be getting their trash bill this week. Mrs. Thompson sent me a text yesterday. We're asking the changes of what we had. I'm assuming, I wanted to bring everybody's attention tonight that on council. If you get any phone calls, the old price was $52.17. For 3 months, the new price is $63.54. And that's a change of $11.34. So if anybody gets any phone calls, I can, bring you up to speed, and you can tell them what's going on. Probably Jacqueline, you'll probably get more of the phone calls of what's going on. But they sent the electronic ones out today. And before the meeting tonight, another thing I was asked, and this was going back to probably 2 years ago, if it's possible to change the start of the council meetings. I'd like to bring that back up as it was asked to me tonight. I know at one time we were asked to start council meetings at 6 o'clock, but then our previous clerk said that she couldn't make 6 o'clock.
discussion on this?
6 o'clock is with my job, working till between 4:30 and 5 o'clock every day. It makes it very difficult to get here by 6 o'clock. Rushing around and being adequately prepared for the meeting.
And 6 o'clock would not work for me, possibly 6:30, but not 6. 6 would not work for my schedule.
I would not be in favor of 6 o'clock, because I work till 5.
I think the advantage of the 7 o'clock meeting for council, which is a meeting that many members of the public come to, is that most are available by later in the evening. I would stick with 7 o'clock.
Anybody else?
Won't be able to make it at 6 either with work.
Sounds like 6 isn't gonna work. All right, so we'll keep it 7 o'clock. That sounds good. All right, we have expenditure approval.
I have a couple more things, please.
Mhm.
The request from the service committee, is that a charter request or a charter change that you're looking at?
No, it is in chapter 236.
Okay. I'm trying to understand because with our change to a service foreman, I don't, it would be up to the mayor's discretion whether or not to have a service director, a service supervisor, or a service foreman. So I don't know why we're looking to change that, or I don't understand the need to have a job description for those jobs.
Well, and that's what I had emailed out that we were asking for clarification on. Because if you look at our table of organization, there's a service director, a service foreman, and then on down to the staff. Whereas the ordinance talks about a service director, a service supervisor, and the housing zoning person. And we were seeking clarification on, is a service supervisor and a service foreman the same thing, or are they two different things? So that we're understanding everything correctly, or if we don't have the service supervisor and they're known as a service foreman, then we should be reflecting that in our verbiage in the ordinance so that everything aligns.
Okay. So it just telling the service committee who's what, right? Or who's doing what?
Yes, and also, like I said, are they a supervisor or a foreman, or do we have both? Like,
Okay,
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
quite understand. Okay.
Yes.
All right. The only other thing I had was, we have passed the levy, for Lake Overlook Beach Park. I would like to maybe ask for a committee as a whole or some type of public hearing that we could have residents come in and start to talk about what we want to do with the park.
Good. We can talk about that under announcements and settings and meetings. Expenditure approval. Vendor, Travelers Insurance Company. Any questions on this?
Are these all under a single budget appropriation? Where does it come out of, or is each of these coming out of its own? I guess I'm wondering.
It's a single.
Okay, and which, so I can see where it is. And my notes on our appropriation, I just want to know which line item is coming out of.
I don't have one. I don't have all the numbers in mind.
Yes.
Is there a date where this has to be signed? What's that date?
I believe it was like 30 days of receipt. So. 4 weeks.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the expenditure?
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Lunder. Is there a second?
A second.
Seconded by Mrs. Thompson, or Mrs. Moore. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Thompson.
Aye.
Mrs. Moore.
Aye.
Mr. Gray.
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong,
I,
Mr. Lunder,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Any other things under new business? Okay, we'll go on to open to the public to speak. Again, if you'd like to speak, please come to the lectern and state your name and address for the record. Hearing none, we'll close this portion and move on to announcements and settings and meetings. All right, Mayor asked for a forum for the Lake Overlook Park. What do people's calendars look like? Can you pull up the city calendar? Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Do you have a date in mind?
I would say I will be on vacation until the 12th, so anytime after May 13th would work.
Okay.
The reason I'm kind of delaying a couple of weeks, I want to make sure Tim Lannon is here
Mhm.
from CT. They may have additional information.
Do you want to check his availability before we set a meeting?
I would set a meeting and then I will, make sure that he's available or somebody from the staff.
Questions, we're reaching out to the residents, what about a Saturday?
Would depend on the Saturday.
Well, I'm looking at the 25th.
Yeah,
That's Memorial Day weekend, you know.
Yeah.
It's not, that's,
Mhm.
it's just, a thought. We don't have.
So we have available.
The 25th and June 1st.
Well, if we don't do it on a Saturday, because
Right.
people are gonna wanna,
Right. If we don't do it on a Saturday, we have the 16th, 17th, the 20, 21, and 22.
okay,
We go 16.
16.
I will not be here on the 16th,
I do.
but that's okay.
Hmm.
The other ways we can do it, the 20th, 21st, 22nd, you're out what days?
That week.
That whole week. What about the next week?
27th and the 31st.
27th is Memorial Day, so that's out.
There is a council meeting the 28th, there was a service committee meeting on the 29th,
That's why
and there's a Parks and Rec meeting on the 30th.
That was the first week of June,
and we're back to June.
June 3rd will be planning and zoning now.
right? And June 4th is a community development.
Development. So Wednesday, the 5th. The citywide yard sale is supposed to begin on Thursday, the 6th. Doesn't mean you can't have a meeting.
5th,
5th is available.
how do people feel about June 5th? You can't do it Wednesday.
I prefer them. We can't find anything else in the next.
June 7th, which is a Friday.
It's on the
Friday,
6th.
What was wrong with the 6th?
6th is agenda and the room is reserved. We have the 7th, the 10th, the 13th and 14th.
the 10th is a second Monday, and maybe charter review, though, is not currently scheduled.
Well, we can beat them to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Season the 10th or what?
10th or 13th, she said.
No 11th. Well, 11th is council meeting.
Council, yeah. Can't do the 11th. So
13th.
13th is available. That's a Thursday.
how do you feel about 13th of June? Any objections to the 13th of June?
Time?
7 o'clock?
All the residents will be home.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're gonna go with the 13th of June at 7 o'clock.
What is this?
And this is a forum on Lake Overlook Beach or Loba.
I'll email you the, all of the dates.
You know, Tim's gonna come back and say he's not available.
Yeah.
All right, we have the ordinance committee meeting Tuesday, April 30th, 2024 at 6:30 PM. Charter Review Commission is meeting Monday, May 13th, 2024 at 6 PM. Service Committee is meeting Wednesday, May 29th at 6:30 PM. Community Development Committee is meeting Tuesday, June 4th at 6:30 PM. The next regular agenda meeting will be Thursday, May 9th at 6 P M. The next regular meeting of council will be May 14th at 7 P M. Are there any other meetings? Yes.
Citizens Advisory Committee is meeting tomorrow at 6:30 P M.
Citizens Advisory Committee. 6:30 P M. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Tomorrow. 24th of April.
Since 6:30.
6:30 tomorrow.
Any other boards, committees, or commissions?
Vote before adjournment.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Lunder, second by Ms. Wong for adjournment. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Thompson.
Aye.
Mrs. Moore.
Aye.
Mr. Gray.
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong,
Aye.
Mr. Lunder, Mr. Johnson.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned.